Hi guys, so today's tutorial I'll be showing you how I made this jelly handbag. I've been wanting to make a handbag for a while now and I finally did, and the tutorial is up. So if you're interested in making this video is for you. If there is something you do not understand from the video, kindly leave a comment and I will give you the answer that you require. Thank you so much for subscribing, and if you haven't done so, kindly subscribe, and let's get into the tutorial, shall we? So for this project I'll be using a 9mm hook, my t-shirt yarn, a pair of scissors, and some stitch markers. Okay, so here goes. We'll be starting this project with a slip knot. So to make a slip knot, this is how I usually make my slip knots. I go like this, put in my hook, and I pull out the longer side, and I drag the small one to tighten it off, just to fasten it. So here you go. This is how to make a slip knot. Let me do it again. You grab your thread, you roll it across your finger until you get to this side. You lift it up or not. You put in your hook and you pull out a loop, and you fasten it off by tugging on the short one, but you need to be holding the loop so it doesn't drag out. So you tug on the short one and then you've tied it. This is a slip knot. Okay, so here we go. So I'll be making 7 chains. Okay, 7 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is my foundation chain, and I'll be sealing it off with another chain just to seal it off at the end. Okay, that does not count as a stitch. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chains. Now I'll be doing some increases at the last chains. Yeah, so I can start with the shaping of my bag. So this is going to be single crochet all throughout this project. Single crochet, that's the only stitch I'm using for this project. So go in to the first loop. Now as you can see, I'm not starting with one. I'm not going through just one of the ropes in one of the ropes in the chain. I'm doing two. I'm taking two at a time. So in each chain there is this is in each chain the stitch looks like 1 2 3, one in the middle, two on each end, but I am going into the middle and the first one. First of all, it gives your stitch, your foundation stitch, like it's tight. How do I put it? It gives your stitch a tight foundation. Yeah, so I'm going with 2 1 2. Okay, so this is the very first increase in this project, and I'll be putting my stitch marker on the first stitch. That's the first single crochet that I made here. Okay, I'm putting my stitch marker to mark it because that's where I'll be doing my increase on this side. So this has been marked, and then for the next 5 chains I'll be going in with 1 single crochet. Okay, I'm only doing 2 single crochet at the beginning, but I'm going in with 1 at the next 5, in the next 5. So this is the first one, the second one, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. Okay, so I'm back here now and I'll be doing my increases. So 1, so this is the last chain, so you have to increase on the last chain. Okay, 1 and 2. So we're supposed to go around actually, but I need to show you something. So here we should have 9 single crochets. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so just like how we marked the first one, we'll be marking the last one because we'll be doing our increases there as well. Okay, now we are going round. We're going to repeat everything we did on this side. We'll be repeating it on this side. So here again, we'll be doing 2 more stitches in this same loop. 2 more stitches. 1, 2. And we'll be stitch marking the first one. Okay, because that is where we'll be doing the increase as well. Now, as for this, my drawstring here, my tail, rather the tail of my project, I don't have a tail. So as for the tail of my project, I'll be doing I'll be passing it underneath so that I can just like sew through it, like stitch through it and conceal it instead of cutting it off. If you cut it off, you might end up losing everything that you've done. So it's just to put it in properly and stitch over it. Okay, so we'll be going the next five stitches, or chains rather. We're going in with 1 single crochet each. So it's actually tight, so here you go. Pull up a loop and weave through the both of them. So you go into the next chain space, pull up a loop and pull through both. Yeah, so doing that for the next 5 stitches until we get to the last one where we'll be doing our increase. I'm not really big on making handbags, to be honest. I'm not much of a fan of handbags, but I like beautiful things, but I'm not much of a handbag person. For someone who actually loves shoes, I think it's high time I start making shoes with crochet, or designing my shoes with crochet. So we're now at the last place. So far, let's count. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have to do 2 in here to complete the 9. So 1, 2. That is our increase on this row. Okay, now we have to secure this row by going into the first chain we did. We have to take out the stitch marker. Anyways, first of all, we have to mark this. This is the last one, so we are supposed to mark the first and last of every stitch in each row because that is where we'll be doing our increases. So we're going into this first stitch to fasten off, to secure this row. So we'll go in here, pull up a loop and pull through this slip stitches. This is not a stitch. It does not count as a stitch. You don't work with this. This is just like a tying spot. It's like when you want to tie something, and this is like the knots you get to tie. So we chain one to secure it all properly, and we go in with two single crochet because this is our point of increase. All right, so we're increasing at the first and at the last of each side. I don't know if that makes perfect sense, but that is what we'll be doing. So going with the first stitch, use a stitch marker to mark this because this is the first stitch. Mind you, the closing off and the chain one we did, they don't count as stitches. Okay, these two things here, they don't count as stitches, please. So we're going into the same stitch, you know, the same double crochet and single crochet stitch with another stitch. So two stitches in the same place for the increase. Okay, so the increase has been done, and then we'll go single until we get to the next stitch marker. So single, one single crochet in each loop till we get to where there is a stitch marker. So one single crochet, one single crochet, one single crochet, one single crochet, one single crochet. Keep going with your one single crochet, one single crochet. Now we'll be doing the increases here. Okay, so first increase, and then we go into that same hole with another stitch, and then we put our stitch marker on that last one to mark off because that's what we'll be doing the next increase. Then we're doing another increase here as well. So one, and two in the same loop, and then we'll be marking the first one in this case, and then I go round again. Okay, so this is our bees coming into form. Okay, so we're getting close to where we'll be doing our increase, so get ready to increase, and take out the stitch marker, and we'll be doing two stitches in this loop for our increase. So first one, second one, and we put back our stitch marker on the second one. Then we're fasten off this row. Okay, so I take out this first stitch marker and go in here. Mind you, like I said, this is not a stitch, this is not a stitch. Where we took out the stitch marker from, that is where we have the stitch. My stitch is pretty tight, that's why you see me like pushing through really hard. So I advise that you don't do your stitches as tight as mine because they will hurt your hand. But yeah, it's just me. So we do a single crochet, chain one rather, and then we'll go in with 2 single crochets in the same space. Okay, 1, 2. There are different ways that we can actually do this first place, to be honest, but I just have to do this so nobody gets deceived. If you watch so many tutorials for beginners, crochet tutorial for beginners, you're going to find different ways to do that. Sometimes you can even make a chain, a stitch, but I can't give you that information right now. So let's keep going with this. So I put back my stitch marker on the first stitch to mark it off as the beginning of another round, and I keep going around. When I get to a stitch marker, I do my increases everywhere, and we keep it going up until we get the size that we need for half of the bag size. Okay, so it's supposed to go halfway for the size of the bag. All right, now I have about 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. Yes, I have 6 rows, and I am going to do 1 row of no increase, then I'll start decreasing. Now I'm doing 6 rows because I have very limited yarn left. Yes, I actually already made what I wanted to make out of this. I just left this for like a tutorial. So the bag I actually made is bigger than this. I'll be showing you that maybe at the beginning of this video, probably at the end. I'll show you that, or I'll do a different video for it. So it's advisable we do up to, let's say, 9 to 10 rows of the increase. Okay, let's say 9 rows of this whole increase stitches. We do 9, then we do 1 row of no increase, and then do about 6 rows of decreases. Yeah, so that it will give the bag the shape that it needs. Then you can now do the handle. So this next row is a row without increases. That will be my 7th row for this particular project. So I'll be joining this yarn because I ran out, sort of, not really. Anyways, so I'll be starting from here. So this is how I like to do it. I like to put in a new yarn from like a new stitch. You get? So I'm going into this, my first stitch loop, and I am pulling this out from here. I don't like to leave very long ropes, to be honest. They tend to disturb me. I feel like I'm wasting I feel like I'm wasting my yarn whenever I do that. So yeah, so this is how I like to do it. I have this to put them across, and I do this. Now remember, this is the row of no increases. Let me keep this stitch marker aside. This is the row of no increases, so I'm not doing 2 here. So I'm just going in with 1 single crochet into every single stitch on this row. 1 single crochet into every single stitch. No increases this time around. Okay, take notes, because this particular row is the midpoint for the increases coming from below and the decreases going from after the middle. So I'll keep going, and I will meet you at the end of the row so you can see it, and then I'll show you how to decrease. Okay, I hope you are really enjoying this project. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you can get a notification whenever I post a new video. Then like, share with your friends who are interested in learning how to crochet, and yeah, support me on social media at Lemonade Brand One on Instagram, Lemonade Brand on TikTok, and this is me, Lemonade underscore GC, Crochet by Lemonade on YouTube. On Facebook as well, Lemonade Brand on Facebook. I'll meet you at the end. I'll be sealing up this row. I made the last stitch pretty tight, so that's hence the difficulty to get through. So just did the last stitch on my 7th row, and I'll be sealing it off with a slip stitch into the first stitch, pull through and pull through this, and it has been sealed off. Okay, now I'll be starting with the decreases. Yeah, now it's easy to just keep this and put in to the next one. I think I'll just do that so I don't confuse anybody here who is a beginner. So I'll be skipping this first one where I did the slip stitch into, because I'm starting my decrease, and I'll be putting my, so I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm not so sure about my camera positioning. It's been, anyways, I won't be going into this first stitch with another stitch. No, I'll be skipping it because now I'm reducing. I'll skip it and I'll go into the next one instead. So this is it. Yeah, so I just did a decrease by skipping one stitch, and then I'll keep going until I get to this end where I'll be doing my decreases on this side. So do not mind that I took out my stitch markers. Please don't take yours out. Okay, please do not take yours out. I'll explain when I get there. So I keep going into every stitch with one single crochet into every stitch. Mind you, I am going to be decreasing at this last place as well. You know, we did our increases on 2 stitches, so we have to do our decreases on 2 stitches as well on both sides, so that our back can take shape. Impermeable, unbordered, and the people's champ, Obama. Sick and tired of the con artist. I love Jessie Reyes. She's like my voice on earth. She sings for me. Sometimes I wonder like what my musical life would be without her. And I wonder who would make songs for me if she were not born. So yeah, I love Jessie Reyes. Crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. Okay, calm down. So I'm now getting to this end. Now, if you remember, where we're doing the increases, yeah. Remember, the decreases and increases have to happen around the same place. You get? So if I hadn't taken out my stitch markers, these two would have been the point of our decrease, here and here. Okay, so I have to trace it back from the stitches and around those places. Okay, I'm wrong actually. This is it. Okay, so remember it has to be the two stitches close to each other. So when we're doing our increase, after the first one on this side, the second one is where we'll put our stitch marker. Then on the next one, it is the first one that will put our stitch marker. So hence why they are close to each other. Okay, so keep going until we get to where the stitch markers are, and then we do our decrease. Now for the decrease, yeah, we'll have to get rid of one of these, each of these rather. And in order to do that, we'll have to turn it into one stitch. So this is how I like to do my decreases. I like to do my decreases on going into this first one, pull up a loop. Let me take out the stitch marker. Go into the second one, pull up another loop. That is 3, and then I pull through all 3 of them. This is how I like to do my decreases, okay? But in some other cases, let me put back my stitch marker so we can tell that this is the point of decrease. Now in this case, in some other, now I have to do the decrease using this and this to turn it into one stitch, because what this did here basically is just turn these 2 stitches into one. So I have to turn this into one stitch with this, like by eliminating one. So just like how I did here, I could go in here, put my hook through the first loop, pull out a loop, put it into the next stitch rather, pull out the loop, and pull through all 3 loops. Okay, I could do that. But if you're a beginner and you think you don't understand that, all you need to do is just skip this and put your chain into this one. That's all. Just skip it. Just that your work won't be very neat, in the sense that it's going to feel like there is a space somewhere here. So it's not on every stitch, on every project, that you should do something like that. All right, so you go in with this, pull out a loop, go into the next stitch, pull out a loop, and pull through all 3 of them. Then you put back your stitch marker. Okay, so after that, no more decreases. You keep going with one stitch into each stitch below. So keep going with single crochet into each stitch for the decrease, on this row rather. We already did our decrease on the side, so it's remaining the last decrease. Yeah, now the reason why the first decrease I was comfortable with skipping the first row instead of doing what I just did here is because we did like it's like the midpoint, and I feel like the yarns that go into the stitches that go into that to seal it off from the other end is just enough, um is just enough, how do I put it, enough filling for that particular loop, or hole rather. So I don't want to bunch it up so much and make it um too naughty, like knotty, too naughty, which is why I could actually skip that one. But every other one, I don't want to skip them because they are just going to end up being empty. And I do not want that for this handbag. If it was a skirt, we can do that. If it's a top, we can do that in some, not all. I wouldn't want to do that anyways, but I'm just saying in case somebody is looking for an excuse, there you have it. I give you one. You're welcome. So this, oh, okay, I made a mistake. So now we have 2 stitches left at the end. Now we have to turn these 2 stitches into 1 stitch to form our decrease. Okay, so go in here with our hook, pull out a loop, go into the next one with our hook, the next stitch, pull out a loop, and then pull through all 3. Okay, now we just did our increase. We just turned 2 stitches into 1, and you can mark that with your stitch marker so that you know that this is the point where you do the decrease. And then we close this row by going into the first stitch here and sealing it. Yeah, then we chain 1 to secure it. Once again, I'll be skipping this and just be going in here with 1 single crochet because it is not necessary to go through the 2. Okay, see, if I'm doing this now, I'm doing 1, 2. I just feel like it is too much, because of the thickness and all that. Now, it's not because it is impossible. It will actually work, but I'm ignoring it intentionally. So if you want to do it like this, you can actually do it like this, or you can just simply skip it, whichever one that works for you. Okay, but since I already did it that way, you can just mark it with your stitch marker so you don't get confused when you get to the end that this is like the beginning and of a different row, and where you're supposed to end the new row. So I just did the decrease on this side, and on every other stitch I'll be going with 1 single crochet as usual until I get to where there is a stitch marker. Then I'll be making a decrease. Okay, I am approaching the point of decrease. I feel so English right now. I said I am approaching the point of decrease. Anyways, so I'll be decreasing by making this and this into 1 stitch. Okay, so the stitch that comes before this, I'll be turning both of them into 1 stitch, the both of them. That is my decrease. So go in here with your single crochet. I need to be careful with this hook and my nails. Take out the stitch marker for the point of the decrease. Go in here with another single crochet. Sorry, you go in here with your hook, pull out a loop, and then pull through all 3 of them. I just did my decrease on this side, put it back. Now, if you would easily get confused, you can actually stitch mark this and this one next to it, just like how you could stitch mark this and this one after it, so that you know that they are the 2 you're supposed to turn into 1, just so we are not confused here. So you take out this because we're doing another decrease. You go in with your hook, pull out a loop into the next space, go in with your hook, pull out a loop, and you pull through all 3. Okay, so you see our bag is coming together, the shape is coming together. Now this might not be the big size of the bag, but well, it is what it is. So yeah, and then we go through each other space with our single crochet. I did not stitch mark this back, so here goes. Now we're going through all of it with single crochet, no decreases. We've already decreased at the points where we ought to. So we'll be decreasing on the last points. So I'll be taking out my stitch marker from here, because we have to turn the one that comes before it and the one with the stitch marker into one stitch. So go into this, pull up a loop, go into this, pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through all three of them. You know, for a moment I forgot that this is called yarn over, which is why I haven't been mentioning it. But yeah, this is yarn over. So we attach our stitch marker back, and then we slip stitch to secure the row. Take out your stitch marker from this one, because that's where we'll be slip stitching to secure the row. Slip stitch, secure the row. Okay, so I'll be going off camera to do the rest. See ya when I finish with the rest of the heights. This could actually work, funny enough, but I need to go, let's say, one more and do another decrease. So I've gotten to my last row, and like I said, the size of this bag is very small. Okay, this is a very mini purse. So totally I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 rows in total, and out of these 10 rows I did 6 rows of increases. You know, after the foundation chain, the next row was an increase, and I did 6 of it. Then I did the 7th row without an increase. Okay, 7th row I did it without an increase. I did the 8th and 9th row with decreases. Now for the 10th row I did not decrease. Now in your case, if you want to decrease, you could decrease, but I did not decrease because I felt like it's small enough, and the hand is going to take more space as well, you know. So if you want your bag to be bigger than this, your foundation chain has to be more than 5, more than 7, my bad. Okay, you could do 10, you could do 15, depending on how big you want your bag to be. You could do 20. So here I only have 7 chains as my foundation chain. So in your case, if you want your bag to be wider than this, if you don't want to do a mini purse like this, a mini jelly handbag, as the case happens to be, you could do your foundation chain to be about 12, 15, thereabouts. Okay, so yes, now it's time for me to start with the hand of my purse. For the hand, after this last chain here, I'll have to cut this off. Okay, I have to cut this off, and the reason why I still have my stitch markers here is because I'll be counting how many stitches I'll use for the hand of my purse. Okay, so I don't like that I'm cutting this off but yeah, there's no other way to go about it. If not, I wouldn't have cut it off. I like to just continue my project without having to cut yarns, because sometimes we tend to recycle. So yeah, this is sealed, tied, secured, and for this purse I'm going to be using 4 stitches to do the hand of the purse. Okay, 4. So I'll be going in with my stitch markers already counted my first 2 for me, so the next stitch to where the stitch markers are will be like my 4th stitch. So I will now be moving my stitch marker to the next stitch just to not miss it. Okay, so this 1, 2, the stitch markers plus 3, and then I move this and make it 4. Okay, so to be sure, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need 4 of these stitches for my bag hand. So if your bag is wider than this, you can make it 6. You can make it, I don't know, however thick you want it to be. So it could be 6, could be 7, depending on how you want to mark it or how you want to count it. So yeah, so now I'll be going in here with my first stitch. Yeah, so let me take out the stitch marker. So there's something I didn't say. Okay, let me hold on with that information for now. So I just tighten this. This is not a stitch, please. This is just to secure the yarn. So we'll be going in now with our first stitch. So this now is the first stitch, securing this yarn in here so it doesn't stay out and look ugly. So this is first stitch, this is second stitch in the next stitch space. Okay, remember we're making 4 stitches for the handle. So this is stitch number 3. I'm using the side of my eye to look at my water bottle. Dripping water is annoying. So we're taking out this stitch marker here, so we can do the 4th stitch, stitch number 4. So this is 4 stitches. Okay, now for our handle, the hand is supposed to look a particular kind of way. Okay, so we'll be joining this end to this end because our hand is supposed to look round, like a roll. So I don't know if I should just leave this in here. Okay, let me leave it in there. So now I'll be joining in from this end to this end. Okay, so the first stitch, please take notes, this tie in here is not a stitch. Okay, you only have 4 stitches for the handle. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So any other thing you see there doesn't look like it's not a stitch. Don't take it as a stitch, even if it looks like a stitch or it is a stitch. It is not. Okay, so make sure your numbers are accurate. So if you're doing with 4, you go with 4. If you're doing 5, you go with 5. If you're going 7, 6, you go with the 6. However. So now I'll be securing this here. Because I want the hand to be round. So I'm going in with my stitch and I'm pulling it through here and yeah, that was really tight. So I'm securing it. Oh, okay, securing it, secured a chain 1, and then you continue. So please don't be like me, so your stitch is not very tight and you end up finding it difficult to put your hook through. So loosen your hand up a little bit so it doesn't hurt. So this is first stitch, second, this two, this is three, and this is four. Okay, so we're securing it in this next stitch as well. Since it's four, you have to secure it here. So you know you're done with that particular row. Okay, this is actually pretty difficult. I don't want to change my hook so that the size of it does not affect the size of the bag, but I would have preferred to use a smaller hook at this point now. So chain one, going through that first loop, single crochet, going to the next one, the next stitch. Now they are kind of like close together, so you need to be careful and watch out so you don't end up running it through another stitch and causing a tangle. Okay, so remember, like I said, try to keep your hand loose so it's not too tight and sturdy for you, especially if you're a beginner, so you don't think that every crochet project is that hard and then you give up on wanting to learn how to make crochet. So this three, going into the fourth stitch to complete this row. Four, then you secure with a slip stitch into the first one, and I'll keep going. I keep going. Now there's something I would like to point out, please. You don't necessarily have to, you can't do this until you get to this point. We are going to have to do the same foundation for this place. I'll come back to that. So I don't want you to I'm saying it now so you don't get to do this completely to get here only for you to find out that it's not supposed to just go in here directly. So bear in mind that whatever it is that you do, make sure that you don't do this to the length where it will rest on here, because you're going to do about 2 rows here. The reason why is because you will need to do this kind of a foundation where the two meet each other at this point. Yeah, you will need to do that. That is why. So I'll keep going until I get to a particular length, and the handle of this bag is not supposed to come out really long. Yeah, no, yeah, I don't think that's not the design, unless that is the design that you want to do. It's just supposed to be enough for your fingers to fit through it and hold your handbag. Okay, that's all it needs. So I'll keep going until I get my desired length. So you keep going as well until you get your desired length, and I will meet you soon. So this is now the point where I'll be joining both sides together, and I will start off by cutting this off. So let me show you what I did. I did my last stitch and I did the putting it through, you know, the joining it with the other side, like how we went here, you know, like when you finish your row, you join it with the other stitch, with the first stitch, so that you complete that row, and then you chain one and you start it all over again. But now I've chained one and I'm not starting all over again. Or rather, in this case, I don't want to chain one. Reason is because I don't want a knot to be here. I already have what seems like a knot here already. So I'm not putting that here. I'm not chaining one because I'm just going to sew it into this other side. Okay. Now, typically, when someone wants to do something like that, you're supposed to use a crochet needle. I don't have my needle close to me right now, and honestly, I don't want to search. It's probably inside the drawer here or somewhere else. No, it's not in the drawer here. No, it's not. But I'll be cutting this. Now, I need you to understand that you will need a long strand, okay? Just in case. So it's better you have a longer strand than you have a short strand, because if you have a short strand, it doesn't make any sense, okay? So I'll be cutting from here. It's going to be this is going to be okay. I won't say that because some newbie might want to think that they could do the same thing and end up making the same mistake. So I won't say that. So I'll be cutting here and pulling this out. Yeah. Now I will need to attach this together. So I'll be going from one end to the other. Okay. So this is supposed to go with this. Then take this and take this. So you get the under, the one above it, and you pull through both of them. There goes. Okay. So you go into the next loop. That's the next stitch. Then you find the next stitch after this one that you just put through, and you do the same thing. You pull through both of them. Okay. Then you go into the third stitch, and then you go into the third one on here. Okay. And you pull through the both of them. Now it's time for the fourth one. So this is my fourth, and this is the fourth on this side as well, and you pull through the both of them. Okay. Now easily we can just tie this here. You just tie this here, and you can even make it look like a design. You know, it's like tying a knot in a way, like it's supposed to be a half bow or something. You get? And that works. That would work. It doesn't necessarily have to be like that, to be honest. So let me show you another option. Yeah. So after you've tied them both together, yeah, you could take them in to keep them hidden. So one on each side. Just secure it in between the stitches. Until it cannot be seen anymore. So you see, it's well hidden. Can't be found unless you're searching. So I can do the same thing for here. but if you follow everything that I did, you definitely have your handbag ready. Anyways, this is me trying to hide some yarn strands and stuff, so this is what it looks like done and dusted. Now you could do some designs, on it. You could put like the magnetic clip in between if you want to. You could make some flowers and attach to the body. I'm going to show you that on my next video that I will do, so that you see the bigger size and you see the size as well, or not. So thank you so much for watching. Do subscribe, yeah, for more tutorials, and I will try to make them as easy as possible. And leave a comment. Let me know if this was easy to make, if it was hard. If you have any questions, you let me know and I will answer the questions. I would like for you to tag me with your projects, and let's relate. Bye until next time.